Travillian Next is a division of Travillian, a financial services specialist search and talent advisory firm. Since inception, the Travillian team has dedicated itself to enhancing the return on investment of a company's most important resource, its people.
Hello. Welcome to another great episode of Travillian Next. Very happy to have our next guest on. Very excited to speak with Damon Magnuski from Acceleron Bank. Damon, excited to have you here. We've had multiple discussions. Very interested in learning more about what you're doing at Acceleron. But can you give the audience just a little background on your experience in banking, and then kind of overview of Acceleron, and then we can dive in?
So my experience is pretty unique for a banker. I started out working in nuclear power, repairing power stations worldwide. And I noticed, some of the projects I was on lost money just based on like foreign exchange, right? But yeah, back before I was into banking, then I transitioned to training to be an options market maker at the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. Like the pit guys like yelling all crazy.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so I was doing that for a little bit, and my mother-in-law was sending some money to her other daughter in France for a wedding, and she asked me if I could protect it, if she should do it now or do it later. And I said, hey, I'll buy you an option, protect you. If it moves against you, you'll get a little upside if it moves in your favor. I couldn't do it because her transaction size was too small. So
interesting.
We kind of went down a road of protecting transactions, and we figured out that people were paying way too much for foreign exchange. And so we transitioned to becoming a bank. And now I'm a banker.
Yeah, there you go. No, but it's super important right now. People don't think about that. Like nuclear power, then you're in the pit, and now you're a banker. Very interesting kind of journey there. But can you give me an overview of kind of Acceleron? I know you're in formation right now. You're up in Vermont. Sure. Great. I used to have family up in Vermont. Beautiful air. Ben and Jerry's, fantastic. But can you give me like a little overview of what your goal is and kind of what your mission statement is?
Yeah, we're a digital correspondent bank. And what that means is our clients are only community banks and credit unions. Typically under 10 billion in assets is kind of our bread and butter. We're happy to help larger institutions as well. And our primary motive is to bring back the non-interest income that correspondents typically gouge, your members and clients. So the idea was we could create an auction process behind the scenes between multiple providers that are bidding in real time for these transactions. And we compress the exchange rates by like 50% or more typically.
Oh,
and
wow.
that allows you, the client bank or credit union, to mark it up a little bit. And now you're turning a transaction that is probably a net loss for your institution into one that's now profitable. At the same time,
that's great. Yeah.
Et cetera, et cetera. So,
no, that's fantastic. So you're talking about, just from my perspective, if I'm a customer at my local community bank, I guess, would it be a small business or would it be a retail customer, or
it could be either one?
Either one. So even small businesses that are doing transactions overseas, which is happening a lot now, and the vendor overseas needs to get paid.
Right.
And they probably take a loss or go to their bank and the bank takes the loss. Maybe they want to help out the customer. But I'm walking in there, say I'm a retail customer, I just need to send money over to Italy for some reason, buy some wine, I don't know. And before, the bank would take the loss on it, right? Because they just want to be good and they want to keep that customer happy. But now behind the scenes, nothing changes for the customer up front, but behind the scenes, you can turn that into a profit instead of just taking a loss, which is great. And we were just talking about before, all these fees getting squeezed, overdraft fees, free checking. There's a lot that community banks have to, just because they have to keep up with competition out there. So they're losing money on their income statement. So any way you can, even turn a little bit into a profit, that's great.
Yeah, I mean, we love it. We kind of viewed it as, me personally, I was deeply offended after the 2008 financial crisis.
Mhm.
We bailed out these too big to fail institutions.
Mhm.
The smaller ones kind of left us sink or swim. And, so every time we take a client from one of those big institutions, it's
Oh,
a
it's a great feeling. Yeah. No, mate, same here. I like fighting for the little guy, and we work with community banks across the country, and mostly in that sub 10 billion range. And yeah, it's like David versus Goliath when you're fighting. But what community banks can provide is something that the bigger banks can't, which is hands-on experience for their customers.
Right.
Because unless you're a huge global Fortune 500 company, you're not going to get that white glove service with JP Morgan
Right.
or
You're just a
Goldman
number.
Sachs. You're just a number.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're huge fans of community banks. So your focus and your clients will be community banks, credit unions too, I guess.
Yeah, credit unions too. We have, even though we're a bank information, we have clients today. And then through a joint venture, we also service about 170 other banks. So we're already
awesome.
out and about and doing it. It's now, it's just been a transition from us. We started as a fintech company, and just by being regulated, we can help with settlement now. And this is why we're becoming a bank. So.
Yeah. So once you do become a bank, you get that sign off. What happens then to Acceleron? How does that change? How does that change your business?
Yeah, that's a great question. So right now, if Keith's bank were to come to us and say, "Hey, we want to use your services," we say, "Hey, that's great. We're fully integrated into your payments platforms. This is turnkey." But for settlement, you can't settle with us. We're not a bank. You have to settle with the foreign exchange providers or banks in the backside of our platform. So then you have to onboard as many as you want in the auction. And that's a cumbersome process for you.
Oh, yeah. No, you want to make it as simple as possible.
Yeah, once we're a bank, you onboard us and you're done.
Onboard us, and then everything else is handled behind the scenes.
Yep.
No, that's great. And that brings me to another point, choosing a correspondent bank to work with. The technology, the complication, or how complicated technology is. Your Acceleron Bank, is it easy to fit with these different systems, core systems, maybe older technology, whatever it may be?
We don't want to, use ageism with bank technology.
More seasoned
technology,
core technology. Yeah.
So our approach was, and we learned this right away as a fintech company. If you walk into a bank and say, "Oh, we got the latest and greatest in payments technology," but we're going to replace your existing technology, and you got to do all this heavy IT lift, and you got to have programmers.
Yeah,
you'll never make that sale.
No, they'll hang up on you.
Yeah, it's not even worth the headache. Right?
Thank you. Yeah, you have to make it as simple as possible, seamless.
So, in order to do that, we integrated directly into the leading payment processing technology that banks use today. So we're fully integrated into Payments Exchange. We're fully integrated into Pathfinder Group's WIT system. We're working on Q2, and there are a few other smaller ones we're already fully integrated with. So when we come, we say, "Okay, you just got to turn us on. We're in drop-down menus of these systems." There's like a day of training and setup. And then it's, we're not a bank yet, but so you'd have to sign up to FX providers just behind the scenes. But then once we're a bank, that's it. Sign our contract, pick us from the drop down menu, good to go.
So then it'll become a lot easier for the sell, I think. Right now it might be tough because you don't want to have to sign up all these different FX exchanges.
That's right.
Along with you. It'll be great for you to kind of talk to Mr. CEO and say, "Hey, look, turn on the switch." And are you seeing customers, or when you're talking to banks, are you seeing them need this more for their customers? Do they find it a big headache when they look at the numbers and say, "Oh man, we're losing money here"?
So what we typically see is we talk to, maybe a C-level person, and they're like, "Well, they look at the spreadsheet and say, 'Oh, we don't really do foreign exchange. We don't do a lot of international transactions.'" And then we say, well, hey, let's talk to your frontline operations manager and see what they say. They come in and they say, oh yeah, when someone comes in with a transaction to Kenya, we send them across the street to Bank of America. So,
Oh,
so
wow.
this is, you know, they're already telling their customers to go do it somewhere else. Or if they do it, it's here's 25 sheets of paper. I don't know which ones you have to fill in or not fill in for every country. So it's just a bad user experience.
Oh man, yeah, it sounds like a pain.
Yeah.
But no, anything you can keep, the stickiness of the customer and keep them happy, so they don't have to go to one of your competitors.
That's right.
Yeah, you don't want them going over there, and then it seems like an easy kind of lead for the competitor. Hey, come over to us. So
Yeah,
especially for community banks.
if you talk to small, small, medium-sized businesses, right? They typically have, the local community bank, because they have a relationship with the banker and they know that, oh, hey, things aren't great this quarter. Can you like bump my line of credit a little bit? And they can do that. But when it comes to advanced services, they also have a bank, an account at Bank of America, or, a larger, more regional bank, or just a bigger bank. So like, oh, I need to pay my supplier in Germany. My community bank can't do that, So that it's just the assumption. So what we help our clients, the banks and credit unions, do is we're like, hey, you need to send out a marketing campaign. Hey, we can do this service now. It's easy. You don't have to fill out paperwork. It's just all online or through your mobile app or wherever it comes from. And we see clients immediately start doing it. So it's if the bank or credit union is not doing it today, they'll see return on investment within a month, because people just start. If you just tell them you can do it, they'll start doing it, because it's a headache to have multiple accounts.
No, I couldn't. I can't imagine. Yeah, just as a small business, have to go to here, Wells Fargo to do this. I have to go here. I like my community bank, but they can't do that. So anything, you can add to the community bank's services. And I think we have the same vision. We want them to be able to compete and, not have to give money away to the bigger banks just because they can't do it.
I don't really see any product, and this is outside of what we do, but I don't see any product or feature that distinguishes a giant bank from a community that a community bank can already just implement and do. Right.
It's just even especially when you're smaller, it just makes sense to bank with your community bank. We said this during COVID so many times that when that went down 3 years ago, being able to call your local banker up who knows you, who you've met for dinner, golfed with, and say, hey, look, I'm about to take a hit for about 2 months, 3 months. I need to, change up this line of credit portfolio. Imagine trying to call up JP Morgan Chase, if you're Sal's Pizza, or a small little trucking company in North Jersey, you're not even gonna get them on the phone. So we said that so many times. But also, like you said, they need to be able to provide technology and the services that these bigger banks can offer. From an experience, a consumer experience, because we're spoiled as consumers these days. We get things instantly, we order it, it's delivered in, like I just placed an order for something on Amazon the other day, and since it was over $100, they're like, oh, we can have it delivered by 6 a.m. tomorrow. I'm like, it's not a rush. I don't need I don't, but even having that option, it was just like soap or something. Like not a rush. But it just goes to show, you need to be able to provide these services, because in other aspects of our life, these kind of options are being given to us. Just kind of,
but
we're so used to it right now.
The splintering of everything into its own app, I just have like fatigue, just from living. I have like four 401k accounts, right?
Oh yeah. I
just want to merge them into one place. It'd be great if
I don't know how to. I mean, I know how to. It just seems like a pain in the butt. I was just going through it. I'm like, I'll just leave it there. Because, I just consolidated a few accounts I had out there into one banking investment platform. So that's nice. So you can look at kind of your whole portfolio. But instead of going to like 4 different
4 or
places.
5 different websites,
Yeah.
apps, or whatever. That's what I want.
Yeah.
Is everything in one place. And I would prefer if it was my credit union. That would be
Yeah, no, that would be
them.
the best.
I already
Yeah,
trust
yeah.
them. You know,
Yeah,
so-
and sometimes they're just used as, somebody called it a check motel. Like your
Right.
paycheck comes in there and it goes out to 5 different places. So if you could offer those services within your credit union or bank, because I think people do want to bank locally. You feel good, and the money's going back into the community, but you have to be able to provide the services too.
Sure.
People aren't going to stand online for 2 hours on Saturday to deposit a check. So it's you have to be able to, and your services definitely, that's something that seems very easy. And that seems to be, when you're choosing a correspondent bank, making sure you have the compliance in place. I think that's huge.
Yeah.
We've done so many risk and compliance searches over the last year and a half with Bass banks and other banks. It's so crucial to have that in place. But the technology, I think, and the customer service, and that's why I asked about technology first. The easier it is, and the customer doesn't even know what's going on behind the scenes.
No,
Really.
they don't care.
Yeah.
Reality.
They don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like everything that happens when you transfer money in PayPal or make a payment online. You don't care. As a consumer, it
Just
gets
wanna know
done. It
that
gets
it got
paid.
there.
It comes out of your account. Goes
Yeah.
into the other account. Very easy. You can check it. But same with you. So I think your company and any timeline on the bank. It's with the regulators now, so you're just waiting on.
Yeah,
Sign
I
off.
don't want to trip up any regulators.
Yeah, no problem. No, I thought I'd ask, but good answer there.
We'll
yeah,
come back on the show when we go live.
Yeah, you should. But no, this has been a great chat. Real excited. It's great to talk with people who are passionate about community banking and helping and assisting community banks compete in this digital age. And turn a loss into a profit. Sounds good to me.
We love it. We've never lost a customer.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer. And customer retention too, I think.
We haven't lost any.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Keep that streak going, man. But yeah, Damon, let's catch up maybe later in the year, see where you are in the process. And it's always great to chat with executives and innovators such as yourself, helping out the community bank industry. But no, thanks again. Really appreciate it. And if they want to learn more about you, Acceleron Bank, give it a Google.
Yeah,
And
AcceleronBank.com. Super easy.
click on there, and you reach out to people on your team. But no, thanks a lot. Really appreciate it.
All right. Thank
Have
you.
a good day.
I appreciate it. Thanks so much.